What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Nerd Media, and in this video, I wanted to take a second to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I rewatched this movie last night just because I was like, you know what? We've been getting so much great Spider-Man news. Let's rewatch the best Spider-Man movie. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever made and just why it's so fabulous and one of, if not the best of the two Into the Spider-Verse films. I mean, it was really hard for me to come to the conclusion, but I think that it is better than the first one, which was crazy to me that I would be saying that, but it's just true to me. And all that being said, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what your opinion is on Across the Spider-Verse and if you agree with me on this stuff, because I feel like this is stuff that you guys may have already heard, but it's just my opinion. I want to share it just because of how much I love this movie, especially after that rewatch. So with all that being said, let's dive right into the video. So as you guys know, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came out almost around 2 years ago, and we still have 2 years left to go before we get the conclusion to this trilogy, which could be one of the best, if not the best trilogy of all time, if it sticks to landing, because I love this movie and I love the first one. It's so awesome, and I think the biggest thing about this movie to me is how the story is all multiversal and it's all over the place. That's the main thing about these movies. But at its core, it really brings it back down to that one scene with Miles and his mom right before he leaves to go off into the multiverse. It's really just at its core about that one scene, specifically this movie is. And I think that is just so well done because regardless of all the multiversal stuff, it still grounds you with that one message, and then it reinforces that kind of relationship that Miles has with his mom into Gwen and her dad, which I think was a really cool parallel with those two scenes, because we get two scenes with her and her dad, and then we get one with him with Miles and his mom. And I really like how they kind of maybe didn't mean to parallel it, but I think they did just because of how much detail and time goes into these movies. At its core, it really feels like a story about Miles trying to fit in and be accepted in many ways, just because of the fact that he isn't allowed in the Spider Society. He's being claimed that he is not actually a Spider-Man. Like, he is going through a lot in this movie, and I feel like at its core, everything that he goes through always comes back to that one conversation, which that conversation always makes me cry. I really felt that in this movie and this time around, because it was just like I really dug that. And I think that is probably one of the best like ways that you could have done this movie, and it's one of the best messages and one of the best scenes to ground a Spider-Man movie that we've gotten in a long time. And I think that it has a really unique way of grounding everything, and I feel like that's something that is really hard to do with a movie that's almost completely multiversal. Going back to Gwen, she is the first opening 20 minutes of this movie, which really solidifies her as a main character, just like Miles, and they do a great job at that because she has more of a role than she did in Into the Spider-Verse, and they put her on this journey that we see throughout the whole entire movie that I think is probably the most well done one out of any of the people in this movie, because it's just so awesome to watch how she has these struggles at her home world. She refuses to go back. She goes to visit Miles, but she's really not there to see him. She's there to do something else. And then she's wanting to see him at, like, deep down, she just wanted to stay there and see him. But then she also has to go back. And then all of these conflicts end up being a build up to her being sent back home and then having to recruit this rogue Spider-Man team, which I cannot wait to see in Beyond the Spider-Verse. And I really just enjoy watching her journey throughout the film, and I feel like they really sent a message there with the first 20 minutes showing that she's going to be going on a crazy journey. I love the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes are amazing to me, and I love them. And I think it is so smart and fun to do a 20-minute opening that is just nonstop craziness. Because we get that monologue with her at the beginning of the film. Basically, it's her from the future talking about the events that happened in the film, and we get to see little flashes of what happens, and you really feel that she has been on a journey from that point in the movie up until where we hear her say that stuff, which is just crazy, and I love. That's the kind of foreshadowing that I love in this movie, and they do a lot of great foreshadowing and misleading in this movie that I think is just done so incredibly well. Like when they do the mislead for Miles being in a different universe, I was when rewatching it, obviously, he's not in the right universe, but it is so well done and so seamless to up until the point where they reveal that he is in a different universe. I just think that it is so brilliantly done. And I remember in the theaters, I did not think he was in a different universe until we saw Uncle Aaron, which I thought was crazy, but that was so well done. And then the conversation with the Spider Society of if they are the good guys or not, with that line that Miguel says that they are, I think is really cool. And I really love how you have this entire society of Spider-Men and you don't even know if you're doing the right thing, because with the argument with Miles wanting to save his family from Spot, I think is just so well done. I think it's one of the best arguments that we've had in a Spider-Man film. I mean, I can't remember too many like argument type conversations and topics that we've had, but that's definitely one of, if not the best one, because it's just such a compelling thing, especially when, he thinks Spider-Man can do both, but he can't. It's really well done, and I really think that that is a very Spider-Man thing to see happen, where they want to save everybody, and I love that, and I think that that is just so awesome. And I think one of the most mind-blowing things about this movie is not the animation, not the story, not the experience, but it's gotta be the fact that they made a villain that nobody, including me, had ever heard of with Spot, and then just totally making him so menacing by the time we don't see him in this movie anymore, because I am afraid of what he's going to do in Beyond the Spider-Verse. He became very menacing by the time we got into the second act, which I think was just insane, and then we don't see him again for the rest of the movie, which is another cool choice I think that they did. And I just think that he is probably going to be a crazy villain in Beyond the Spider-Verse. But I mean, like you guys heard me mention a few seconds ago, the animation, this is the best animated movie ever. I think that not the best animated movie, but the way the animation flows and it's the best animation that we have seen on screen for a movie. I love it. I love how the animation clashes with the emotion, especially in Gwen's universe. I love that, and I love seeing all the different art styles. It's so good and just so awesome to witness, because it's just so cool. And I love the fact that we got like this vulture at the beginning of the film that was just all paper. It's so cool. And I think that the fact that they're breaking the boundaries again for animation, supposedly for Beyond the Spider-Verse, is insane. And I cannot wait to see what they have in store for that, because I think that the animation here is just stellar. And then obviously you have the experience of this film. The experience of this movie can't match up to something like No Way Home or anything absolutely insane like that, or like Endgame, but the experience of this movie is just witnessing one of the best Spider-Man stories being told. Because I can't say it's the best because the story hasn't concluded yet, but one of the best stories ever told. You're just witnessing on the screen, which is just amazing. And then obviously you get left on that cliffhanger, and you are just so bummed, because then you have to wait more and more, just more and more every single time we get a delay. And it's just like, the experience of watching this movie for the first time was crazy, and that is probably one of the reasons why it makes it so good, because that experience only gets enhanced as you watch it more and more, which I think is something that is so hard to find with a movie nowadays, especially with some of the best in the movie. But yeah, like I said, I really feel like that the story of this movie at its core, being about that one conversation with Miles and his mom, is so well done. And they do a lot of great subtle ways of kind of hinting back to that core theme, and they do it in such a great way where the multiversal stuff that happens in this movie doesn't feel out of this world or crazy. It feels natural, and it feels just like a regular thing because of that core theme, and I love that. And I really hope that we get more of that, or continue that at least, in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Now, you guys may get confused tomorrow, because I have a Spider-Man video coming out tomorrow about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and why I think that could be the best Spider-Man story ever told. While the title of this is going to be, I'm claiming that this is the best one ever told. It's going to be confusing, but I'm talking about the possibility of that one being it. And I think currently, right now, in this moment, this is the best Spider-Man story. So I just wanted to clarify that in case things get confusing on the channel. But let me know what you guys thought of this video down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.